Yes, Ambazonians, it's Lucas Asu again. I have decided to talk to you this very briefly. So please invite people to participate. There is a very important information I would like to talk to the Ambazonian people about. Very, very important. This will be quick, it will be brief. So invite as many people as possible. I want to talk about two things that are very important for the Ambazonian people to know. Something is about to happen in this revolution that Ambazonians need to know as quickly as possible. So invite people to participate. Very urgent. All right. So this is a second video we are going to, this is my second broadcast. There is something taking place which I would like the Ambazonian people to know as quickly as possible. All right. There's a big plot, putting a plan together. You need to know what that is. So share this video fast. I will be brief. I'll be quick to the point. So we're going to start in the next 3 minutes. Yes, welcome. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Please invite people as quickly as possible. There is a very urgent message I want to pass on to the Ambazonian people regarding a plan that they are planning for you. You need to listen. You need to know this. So my fellow Ambazonians, I've come to you again. My name is Lucas Asu. I've come to deliver a very important message regarding your revolution. There are two things happening here. In the last 1 month or so, a lot of information have been revealed about what Samuel Sako from the group called the IG, what he has done to destroy the Ambazonian revolution. When Samuel Sako came into the revolution, he made a promise to the Ambazonian people after Siseko was abducted in Nigeria, and launched a program called My Trip to Boya, where he promised the Ambazonian people that with $2 million given to him, if Ambazonian give him $2 million, that he was going to deliver Ambazonia independence in 3 months. That was the promise. 1 year plus 1 year later, it's now official through their own auditing that $1.3 million was embezzled, was stolen, the people were scammed. And as a result, remember, we made a promise to the Ambazonian people. We made a promise to the young boys on the ground that they should rise up and fight La République du Cameroon. That they should rise up and fight. And Samuel Sako came in and said, this money is for those boys. I'm going to give weapons to every those boys on the ground. As a result, thousands of young men decided to join the resistance. They used their grandparents' then guns to join the resistance with a promise that they will be well equipped, with a promise they will be well organized, with a promise that they will be well armed in order to fight. So Sako's scamming, Sako's embezzlement, Sako stealing from the Ambazonian people money that was supposed to give these boys the defense capabilities has led to the death of hundreds of Amba boys. In just the last few months, 800 in the last 3 months, estimates put it that 800 Amba boys have been killed because the money that was supposed to give them weapons was embezzled by Samuel Sako. In just the last 3 months. So when we make promise, when a leader comes on air, make a promise to the Ambazonian people that and encourage young boys to join the fight for independence, and then you don't provide them weapons, what happens? You expose them. La République wipe them out. Now, hundreds and hundreds have been killed because money raised, because we promised these young boys to join self-defense, that weapons are coming. The weapons were not there. Now, thousands have been killed. This is the consequence. This is the cause. The cause of these people's death is Samuel Sako. Because we promised them that they should join the fight. We are going to replace their den guns and equip them with weapons. Now La République is killing hundreds of thousands. They have killed in just 3 months. Estimate put it that 800 Amba boys were killed of the ASC. Were killed. 800 Amba boys. Ambazonians. This is the blood of Ambazonia we are wasting because we deceived them. Because Samuel Sako deceived Ambazonians. So here is what you need to know. Because of the exposure, because these young boys were exposed, because Tabenyang came out and exposed the scamming, the corruption, the embezzlement, that nothing went to the ground. Because Tabenyang exposed all of this, that Sako has embezzled the money, has eaten the money, has used the money. Sako has lost all his credibility, lost all the trust. It's now a disqualified leader. Here is what I'm going with this. Samuel Sako is looking for redemption. Sako is looking to redeem himself. Sako is looking for a way to make himself relevant in the Ambazonian revolution. Even after the IG Restoration Council has said that he's been indicted for treasonable embezzlement. He's looking for a way out of all of this. He's looking for a way now. So how does he want to do this? That's the purpose of this conversation. What is done, that's the Ambazonian people's responsibility to hold Sako accountable. That's not my responsibility. But as a citizen, as an activist, my goal is to speak truth to what is happening in order to save more life and maintain the integrity of this revolution, regardless of what's happening out there. That's our job as activists. So here is what Sako wants to do next. Samuel Sako is always looking for an opportunity. I'm speaking to you about this because I do this analysis as a smart activist, where I use leadership psychology, I use good knowledge, and be able to pick out all this information that for most people, they can connect the dots. So Dr. Fontaine wanted to organize his conference, which we know where it's coming from, right? Sako has looked at that conference as the perfect opportunity for him to redeem himself. So that is why Samuel Sako quickly endorsed Fontaine conference. Sako rejected APNC conference, rejected a conference of the IG, and endorsed who? Samuel Sako rejected a conference Seseko endorsed, and is now endorsing whose conference? Fontaine's conference, bringing Fontaine much more closer to him. Get all these other people together with Ellie Smith as agreed for their conference. Why is he doing so? Let me give you leadership psychology perspective. Samuel Sako is doing so because of Fontaine's credibility, because of all these other leaders' credibility. Samuel Sako wants to use that credibility in order to redeem himself. Pay attention to this. This is deeper insight into the human psyche. This is deeper insight into why people do the things they do and the way they do them. This is deeper insight into human consciousness. So pay very close attention. Samuel Sako has found a perfect opportunity to use the credibility of other people with credibility and with international standing, get himself surrounded by these people, and that will give him the redemption that he needs. That's why he's supporting the Fontaine's conference. Not because he really likes Fontaine, but because as someone whose role it's always to find opportunities that serve him instead of the people. So I'm not saying that's only the primary reason. I'm talking about Dr. Samuel Sako's, why he's endorsing the conference. All Ambazonia have the right to organize whatever conference they want to organize. I'm talking about why is Samuel Sako, while Sako rejected APNC, but is supporting the Fontaine conference, is because it's a platform for him to go redeem himself. APNC would have held him accountable at the Fontaine conference because it has nothing to do with them. Now Samuel Sako will use their credibility, will use their influence, will use their integrity to redeem himself. All right? So that's Sako's looking for redemption because his character has been assassinated through his scamming and corruption and embezzlement. Now he's looking for redemption through the Fontaine conference. Using using Dr. Akwanga, using Bo Herbert, using, what's his name? The guy from LCNC, Elvis Cometa, using all these people's credibility to redeem himself, because by surrounding himself with these people, this is social psychology now, by surrounding himself with people with credibility, the people will now say, okay, well, if Dr. Akwanga is trusting Sako, who am I not to trust him? If Bo Herbert is trusting Sako, who am I not to trust him? If Dr. Fontaine is trusting Sako, who am I not to trust him? If Elvis Cometa is trusting Sako, so Sako is leveraging on the the social trust factor of all of these other leaders in order as a redemptive strategy. That's what Sako is doing. So that's why they are promoting that conference so much. Not so much for the benefit of the Ambazonian people, because at the end of that conference is that Samuel Sako will be redeemed and he can have now a voice in the revolution. All right? So understand the deeper dynamics of these things. When they are coming out to talk to you, just understand there is a deeper game that is being played by what you see on the surface. All right? So that's why it's important that we have these diverse skills and background so that we can pick these little things that most people will just fly off the brains of most people, and we can bring it, deliver it to you so that you can understand, so that you're not being scammed. The conference should take place. I'm not against the conference, but just understand why they're doing it. Sako's intention for the Fontaine conference, it is because he wants to use the social credibility, the social currency, the social integrity of people like Dr. Fontaine, Dr. Akwanga, Bo Herbert, what's his name? Elvis Cometa. He wants to use their social character, their social integrity as a form of redemption for himself. By associating with those people participating in that conference, the public will now start to see Sako as someone who is trustworthy, because look at what he's doing. Sako is working for unity. You know, it is Sako now that is working for unity. It is Sako that wants to bring all Southern Cameroonians together. That is the Sako strategy. Sako is looking for redemption. It's looking for redemption from his scamming. It's looking for redemption from the death that he caused on ground zero. By this deception that he fooled so many hundreds of Amber boys to join the fighting, that he was going to provide them weapons. He took 1.3 million, scammed them, and now he's rushing to a conference organized by Dr. Fontaine so that he can use that as a social strategy to redeem himself. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. So you need to understand this game that has been played on the Ambazonian people. Here is a man who has caused the death of hundreds of Amber boys, especially under the ASC. In the last 3 months alone, 800 Amber boys have been killed. In the last 3 months alone. When you make a promise to young boys to join the revolution, because you promised them to raise money in the diaspora and send the money, but you took the money, you scammed them, you embezzled the money, you deceived the people. And now, instead of to take a back seat so that the revolution, so that the IG can restructure itself, clean itself, and then they can be able to work with other groups effectively. Now he's looking for a way to redeem himself and doesn't care what happened to those boys on the ground. Doesn't care. Just so that they stay relevant. Just so he stays relevant in the revolution. So now he's dragged Akwanga along, dragged Bo Herbert along, dragged Elvis Cometa along. Elvis Cometa, the chairman of SCNC North America, who went to Philadelphia, stood there when the resolutions were read. He was given a mandate as the chairman of the IG's Restoration Council to go implement the mandate. And that they read that from that day, Samuel Sako was suspended indefinitely. Pending what? Because he was indicted with the embezzlement of funds, which is a treasonable offense. Elvis Cometa, who was supposed to implement the APNC resolutions to suspend Samuel Sako indefinitely and then to put an investigation in place, is the same Elvis Cometa who is going back in the process to help Samuel Sako to be redeemed through the Fontaine conference, using other people's social credibility. You see now how leaders are failing us? How can a leader like Elvis Cometa, that people respect, of this beautiful organization called the SCNC, a man with character, where a mandate is being given to you, to go implement resolutions. And now the same person is working in the process slowly without whether he knows it or not. I'm just explaining it because I have the background to be able to do this stuff. It's now the same person taking Samuel Sarko to use Fontaine Conference as a place in which they want to go redeem Samuel Sarko from his scamming, from his embezzlement, from all the death he caused on Ground Zero. That's what they want to do. So, this is how leadership failed the Ambazonian people. When we have leaders like Elvis Commenter, instead of to take a resolution they made public and implement it, no. Instead of implementing the APNC resolutions, the same Comrade Elvis Commenter, the chairman of LCNC North America, is helping to want to clean Samuel Sarko, to keep Samuel Sarko relevant. So how can the people trust leaders when leaders come to the public and make public declaration and they cannot follow through? How can leaders count on you? How can leaders believe that you can liberate them when you can't keep a simple promise to yourself? When you can't keep a simple promise to the people? How can your people count on you? How can people trust you? How can people depend upon you for their salvation, for their liberation? How can, Mr. Commenter? This is where leadership fails. This is where leaders fail their people. This is where leaders fail their people. You see now why our people are suffering on the ground. You see now why La Republique was taking advantage. You see now why our people are so, wayward. You went to Philadelphia. Resolutions were made. You read those resolutions. You promised the people you were going to, that you announced that Samuel Sarko was indefinitely suspended and that an investigation for treasonable embezzlement was going to be launched. And Chris Anu and Kuku Bling were fired. You said that. And you said within 7 days, someone will replace Chris Anu in that group. What happened, sir? Why have you not implemented the APNC resolutions? Why are you now working hard instead to help Samuel Sarko redeem himself through the association with Akwanga, with Bo Herbert, and yourself, so that Samuel Sarko can achieve social redemption through your social trust? This is where leadership fails. This is how leaders will lose their credibility and they'll make themselves irrelevant. Mark my words. Social trust is very important. It's embedded in people's psychology. When you make a promise like that, you make a public declaration and you cannot act upon it as a leader, you have lost your social credibility. And social credibility, it is the most expensive skill or currency in leadership. Once you lose it, you're done. Just like Samuel Sarko is done. His social currency from 100 to 0 is now at 0. Redeeming Samuel Sarko without implementing the APNC resolutions will make you, Comrade Elvis Commenter, and anyone else who is involved in this process will make you lose your social credibility. If you want to go to the conference and support Fontaine Neba for what he's trying to do. That's fine. Fontaine has the right to do what he's doing. But the Ambazonian people should not be dragged into something without proper explanation. I'm saying this because that's what I owe the Ambazonian people. Pick up this hidden truth, bring it to the public. Some people may not like it, but it's worth doing because we have to do it to protect the integrity of the Ambazonian revolution and so that we don't have these half-assed leaders. Leaders will have balls. Leaders who will say, make a commitment in the public and they can't back it up and they can't act upon it. This is not the Ambazonian spirit. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I came to say. That's why I decided to come back on air. All right, Ambazonians, I don't want to take your time, but that's the message. Understand there are deeper games being played on the Ambazonian people using this Fontaine conference. And one of those is that Samuel Sarko is using that conference in order to try to redeem himself. That's it. Don't fall for it. Good night.